and so I'm quite happy to learn that not only all peoples on the panel are doing comparative work, but that there is also a group which met yesterday afternoon, was mentioned by Guy Peters, and this group is dealing with comparing administrative system in an East-West perspective. And I would like to encourage this group to proceed, because so next year maybe there will be another presentation on comparative administrative system. The module we want to propose is more specific, and the proposal is, well, this is okay. I would like to propose to focus more on multi-level governance. And well, the reason for this, I think, is easily understandable, because if administration is about policy making and implementation of policy making, it is obvious that administration is going on in systems of multi-level governance. This notion of multi-level governance seems to be new, but we have a lot of literature on this notion. Anyway, the notion as such is not very clear, and we need to clarify it. There are some relationships to the literature on intergovernmental relations. Theo Thunen mentioned it yesterday. And there are relations to literature on central-local relations, which we can use in this context. But my understanding of multi-level governance is a more precise one. I would say multi-level governance is no reality and it's no theory, it's a certain perspective for dealing with reality. And I try to summarize this perspective firstly by clarifying the term as such. I cannot see the slides, but I hope I have all in my mind. It's based on a territorial organization of administration and on the linkages of levels, and thirdly on a perspective which deals on the one hand with the vertical linkages of level and the interrelationships between the, so to speak, horizontal intra-level organization of administration and policy making. And finally, I come back to this, multi-level governance in reality is normally, thank you very much, a mixture of modes of governance. What I now want to present is a first rough draft of a framework for analyzing multi-level governance, and it starts with a typology of interlevel structures with simple ideal types. We have hierarchical relationships, we have negotiation and cooperation, and we have, of course, networks. A lot of people identify multi-level governance with networks. I think this is not correct. And we have also types of decentralized policy competition. Competition not in the sense of market competition, but policy competition. And the next step is that we need a typology of internal structures which are then linked to the vertical structures. And well, the first proposal would include different decision rules at inside levels. The second, and very important, is the inclusion or exclusion of private actors. Of course, also the public actors, but I think private actors and which type of private actors is the most important point in this respect. Then real power structures, leadership, cooperation on an equal basis could be dimensioned, and maybe we have to also work with a typology of conflicts. Starting from this typology, we can think about which conceptual and theoretical elements can be used in analyzing multi-level governance. Conceptual and theoretical elements which we can find in literature, in different fields of literature. I won't go into the details of these theories, principal agents, regulation, and so on and so on. You can see it on the slides, and I think you are familiar with these theories. What I want to emphasize is the fact that these theories cannot explain reality. They can be helpful for analyzing problems that arise in such structures of multi-level governance. Structures that we then in a next step should study based on case studies. What is important in this context is that we have theories related to the ideal types of hierarchy, negotiation, networks, and policy competition, but we have not very well elaborated theories dealing with now the influence of different inter-level patterns of policy making, which can increase problems, which these theories show us, but which can also decrease those problems. And I think one of our work should be to elaborate a bit more those theories which I mentioned as, well, we had some elements of theories on joint decision making and multi-level governance, which are very way up to now. When it comes now to the more empirical, more practical part of the work, we will find, and this can be derived from the existing literature, that real patterns of multi-level governance are much more complex, and they combine different ideal types and combine different elements. And I summarized some of them which I found in the literature, differentiated between three policy fields. And I think it will be necessary to differentiate the work between different policies. I proposed regulatory policy, implementation of law, development policy and planning, and service delivery, but maybe this, we need another differentiation. Next step, and well, of course, most important step when it comes to international comparison is that we should choose countries, and we just discussed on the selection of countries. We have people from Spain and Italy. Salvador Parado is in the group, and I'm quite happy that he is in it. And well, we have Germany and Netherlands, and we hope we will have people from Sweden or Great Britain as a unitary country. We discussed the selection of the countries according, well, on the one hand, state tradition, and on the other hand, the type of territorial organization which is linked to the multi-level governance organization. And there is a certain linkage between the state tradition and the territorial organization, so both criteria can be applied. Now we have a very complex matrix, and the next step which needs to be done in the discussion of the group, and I would be also happy if you have some ideas and some comments on this. This is too complicated, and we have to reduce now the complexity in a next step. We have to select countries who have maybe to select good policy fields, because we cannot do all which seems to be on this matrix. We have to be more selective. We just started the discussion in the group, and the group is still in a formative phase. But we have contacts with coordinated by El Salvador and Colorado, dealing with multi-level governance at the local level, and we hope that we find people who work with us, and if anybody is here who wants to join the group, we will be quite happy to have more people. Thank you very much.
It's good to see the organisation by the degree of decentralisation in your last slide there, from federal states to regionalised states to unitary states. It is only a detail. I come from Scotland. You classify the UK, I believe, as a unitary state. You also classify Sweden as a unitary state. Do you think that these countries can now better be described as regionalised states? Scotland, of course, has some laws, substantial devolved administration to Edinburgh. And the same can be said of Northern Ireland, and to a less degree of Wales. If you really want to look at unitary state, shouldn't you be looking at Greece, Ireland, and Portugal?
Yes, of course. This is a good comment. Well, the point is that indeed most countries in the European Union are going in the direction of regionalization. So maybe it will be difficult in the future to find a unitary state. But on the other hand, of course, if dealing with multi-level governance, you have a differentiated structure. You have different levels in all countries, also in unitary states. But you have a different kind of tradition. But of course, we have to think about the categorization of countries, and I know that. Well, I'm not very familiar with Sweden, so I have to rely on people like El Salvador or Colorado, but I think for me, United Kingdom or Great Britain is a rather interesting case, because systems of multi-level governance are, in any case, a dynamic system. They are in a state of continuous evolution. We cannot understand them without referring to this evolution. For this reason, it might be an interesting case.